Hey everyone, Josh Perry here. I just want to take a moment to thank you for checking out this video and for sharing the love and support over the last few years of me on this new journey in my life. And with that being said, I've been making myself more available to give feedback to anyone that inquires, whether it's a question about something they're going through, a question about the experience I've gone through and the perspective or the knowledge that I've taken away. And so this video is that. It's just we have a list of 15 questions from one person, Kate McDowell, and I wanted to give an opportunity to give a full response, not just a typed out response that is maybe going to be quick and brief, but maybe a little bit more context into some of these questions. So we got 15 questions. We're going to go through them. I'm going to give my honest opinion, answer, perspective, experience, whatever the question is aimed towards. And that way I can provide more value and maybe help someone navigate the path that they're on, given some insights from my journey and where I'm going and what I'm experiencing. What motivated me to go from professional BMX athlete life to the life I'm living today as a keto coach, consultant, and a public speaker is really the third brain tumor diagnosis I received in 2017. It was a wake-up call to the things I was already kind of doing, but it really shifted my perspective to wanting to do more, aimed towards a higher purpose of serving other people. And I realized that, this path I'd been on for over half my life of BMX, it did a lot for me personally, and it allowed me to get to where I am and overcome a lot of the challenges I've experienced in my life with the fundamentals that BMX has taught me of, simply put, falling down, you get up, you try again. There is no failure unless you decide to give up and not try again. But every time you get up, you're teaching yourself a valuable lesson, and I've been able to apply that in other areas. So what got me on this path today was really realizing that I have a lot that I can give and a lot that I can help other people with what I've gone through and overcome to get to where I am today. And I'm really passionate about these different, things in my life, whether it be the ketogenic diet or it be learning to calm the mind down and learn about the subconscious and why we do what we do and how we do what we do and how the brain works to really help people. And I've taken the perspective that I haven't gone through all the ups and downs in my life just to keep to myself. So I really want to help share these things with other people to give any sense of inspiring thoughts or perspective shifts or motivation to fulfill their desires in life. So at the end of the day, what's motivated me to get on this new path is really just being able to give back and contribute to other lives around the world. So it depends on which aspect we're talking about, but I think the most important resources to get started is just having a vision, have something that you're set on accomplishing. And it doesn't need to be 100%, but the more thought you can put into it, the more feelings and emotions and, this vision that you can create, the better it's going to allow you to take action moving forward and to figure out what's aligned with that vision and what's not, and really become self-aware. So I think having a vision and having self-awareness is really important. But then after that, let's say, I want to let people know more about my coaching services or my speaking opportunities that I offer. A simple resource is, letting people know, getting your message out. And the beauty of social media, it's free. And so I started out doing my own content and then having different collaborations with a company or media or something like that, to eventually getting to the point where I have Brian here helping me out full time. And it's something he's passionate about doing, he's really good at doing, and it's not a strong point of mine, but I know the value in it. And that resource right there is huge, because you could have all the knowledge, all the experience, all the love, and all the desire in the world, but if no one is hearing from you, no one knows of what you're doing and your mission, your story, and your aspirations to help other people, then they're not going to know. They're not going to find out. So one of the main resources is getting that message out, and content is key for that. Beyond that, there's other things that it's too technical to get into one area or the other. So I think having a vision and having self-awareness to align your actions with that vision, and then content creation to share the message, to share the story, to share your services or your products, whatever it may be, is key. And then after that, there's just depends on which aspect of a business and a career that you're talking about is what you're going to need. At the beginning, it was, I just wanted to help people. Anyone that was really desiring a change and was looking for that support, that's who I wanted to work with, and that's who I wanted to help. And that's still the case today. And then along the way, I've really looked at who my audience is that I want to help and target. Because some people may want to change, but for one reason or another, they're not ready to change. And I was going through a lot of situations where I was reaching people that, thought the idea of, let's say ketogenic diet and lifestyle, like, yeah, that sounds cool. But when it comes down to it, they just weren't psychologically ready. They weren't mentally ready for one reason or another. And I was learning that I was doing a disjustice to them and myself and other people that I wasn't reaching by working with these people. So now I've really learned how to, target a person that's going to fit my model of who I want to work with. And that's going to be someone that's ready for change, and they realize they can change in a state of pain and suffering, or they can be more preventative and more proactive and change in a state of joy and inspiration. They're inspired by something that really clicked in their mind that, man, I don't want this outcome to happen, so let's get proactive about it. That's who I want to work with. And that's the people that I align with. It's like, just tell me what to do. I'll learn along the way, but like, I want to get this change happening, and I want to create this, future aspect of my life, and I want to do it as most efficiently, effectively, and enjoyably as possible. So, how did I determine that? It's just, trial and error. Just, at the beginning, you're just trying to help people, whatever area you're in. And along the way, you just, become aware of these things. You take notes and you realize maybe this route wasn't as effective as this route. And then it evolves, and you evolve with your message and your education and your awareness. And so how did I start with determining? I just threw stuff out and talked to people, got content out, and then just had conversations. And then it evolved, and I learned as I went. To go back in time and do things differently, I don't think I would have learned the things I've learned, and I don't believe I would have had the perspective I have now, and I wouldn't be ready to handle the things that I'm working on now or the mental places I've been if it wasn't for doing the things I did the way I did. And if I went back, and it's like the butterfly effect, like if you change something in your past, what else is that going to change to the point where we're at now? And something I've been learning to accept more and more is that no matter what we've done in the past, it's put us where we are now. We're perfect where we are now. And if we want to change that current state of being, it's, to learn from our past. And what is it? Like, wisdom is taking knowledge from the past without an emotional response to it. You can see something that happens. You don't create this right or wrong. It's wisdom. It's like, man, I learned from that. Now I can apply that moving forward. And there's been so many things I wish happened differently because it didn't match up to what I wanted in that moment. But it taught me a valuable lesson at that time, and it's put me on the path I'm on now, in the direction I'm on, with these understandings that's aligned me better for the future, to be able to handle these situations better, to, that desire I had then, I wasn't ready, and now moving forward, I would be ready. So, I mean, there's so many things we could talk about doing things differently in the past, but at the end of the day, the past is the past. The best thing I would say is just, learn from the past without an emotional response attached to it, and then see what you can do moving forward with that knowledge, with that wisdom. Some basic obstacles were really how to manage income and expenses and taxes, things like that, and making sure I set aside enough. Really just, I think learning along the way was one of the biggest obstacles. I had a vision, I had an idea of what I wanted to do, why I wanted to do it. And then the how was kind of, I wouldn't say the obstacle, but if there was an obstacle, it was really navigating how I would do this or that, how I would create content, how I would get someone to help me with creating content, how I would do my marketing, how I would, reach out to businesses or to potential clients or things. Right now, I'm on this journey of, how do I get my message out about speaking more, so that way people know who I am, what I'm all about, and what my message is, and maybe would want to hire me at their event or to come in and speak to their team or their company, things like that. So one of the biggest obstacles was just figuring out the how to the what and the why. And I think when you have a clear why and a what attached of what you want to do and why you want to do it, the how comes. And the more I focused on trying to figure out the how, the more stressful it becomes. And I think that all sums up to the biggest obstacle that I faced in the beginning was stress and overwhelm from stepping into the unknown. Because as human beings, our brains are wired to anticipate anything coming in the future. And that creates this sense of stress, overwhelm, anxiety. And when you're stepping into the unknown after more than half your life doing something that you're passionate about, that you knew that was making up your entire state of being, the stress, anxiety, and overwhelm come. And when you try to control the how and to force the how, it gets worse. So one of the biggest obstacles was really understanding that. And then now where I'm trying to embrace the unknown of the how, and really just focus on the what and the why and learn how the how can happen. But the more you put emphasis on controlling the how, the more it's going to be difficult to manifest it. And if you just embrace it, it usually appears and occurs in a way you would have never predicted. And that's something I've been experiencing more of and learning more about and trying to embrace. So I think to sum up, the biggest obstacle was stress, overwhelm, anxiety of the how, and losing focus 100% on the what and the why, and putting a little too much focus on the how. So I would recommend just focusing on what and why you want to do something, and let the how come as the more you educate yourself on, the journey you're on. Sharing my truth authentically, realistically, and just being me, showing up in a sense of truth and just sharing my experiences, sharing my passion, sharing my knowledge and the things I've learned along the way, but also just, being me, not trying to be something that I'm not trying to be, represent this facade that I want people to see, but really just being transparent, sharing everything that I can, whether it's good or bad, it's all an experience. And so my goal with my marketing is to not try to be like anyone else. I have a lot of inspiration from different people and different language that they use in terminology, different, genres of information, whether it's keto, it's, fitness, it's, mindset, these different things. And I just try to figure out how I can make it, authentic to me and my messaging and my voice. And that's the biggest piece that I've learned to embrace more. And when it comes to marketing, it's just be you, be your authentic self. Don't try to be anyone or anything else. Take in these different inspirations and see how you can apply it to your journey, your experiences, and your passion and your purpose moving forward. And I think that's been the most effective piece of marketing, whether it's an interview, a podcast, a piece of content, a blog, an article, whatever it is just speaking my mind and not trying to tailor that message to the people that I'm trying to reach and how I think that, they want to see it, but just being me. And the more I am me, the more I resonate with people, because they can feel that energy and that emotion. And that's, at the end of the day, what people connect with. They don't connect with what you're doing. They connect with why you're doing it and your emotional experiences along the way. So the best marketing I found to be most effective is just being me and sharing from the heart. So I have various mission statements I've worked on over the years from different programs I was going through, courses or a book I read or something, some advice. And at the end of the day, my personal mission, no matter if it's speaking, it's creating content, it's having conversations, it's doing videos like this, it's my coaching business. At the end of the day, my personal mission is to inspire new perspective in others that allows them to make changes so they can become empowered to live as healthy, happy, and successfully as possible. I don't want people to suffer as I did to realize they need to make a change, or that they want to make a change and that they can. And so my attached to my mission is I want people to be more proactive rather than reactive. And having that perspective change is what I believe sparks that and allows that change to facilitate. Motivation, I don't like the word motivation, because to me, motivation is just energy in the moment. And for years, I was motivated from one podcast or one video, or one conversation or book or whatever it was, but it fizzled out. But it wasn't until my perspective changed in my life that it allowed me to move forward, making changes that were sustainable. So that's my mission, is to inspire new perspective in people. This is something that I've been, I wouldn't say struggling with, but being more conscious of, and really tailoring what that vision is to me. Because for so long, my energy, my focus, my time, my investment, all these things was put on BMX. And that was a vision I created at a young age that I manifested and lived for about half my life. And now, I stepped away from that. I walked away from my dream by choice to fulfill a purpose of serving and supporting other people through the ketogenic diet and lifestyle, creating content, partnerships, and speaking. So in 5 years, where I'd want this to go is I envision myself having my own foundation, raising funds for people to apply for grants for, taking care of their expenses, like rent or, any kind of medical care they need, healthy food, different resources to help their mind and body that are in a situation I was in with, a traumatic brain injury, a brain tumor, mental health. I want to be able to be a resource for people to get, help however they need it. And with that, I also want to create a speaking tour that goes with the foundation that's creating more awareness and more support and inspiration and perspective that allows people to become the best version of themselves and get the support along the way. So those are like one thing is like a speaking tour that's also raising awareness and funds for the foundation, but also, part of that vision is Brian and I creating a documentary series along the journey of sharing the experience we're on, interviewing other people with similar experiences, pertaining to their brain health that I've been through, and just sharing more of this message. Because at the end of the day, I don't want people to feel like they're alone or broken or whatever it may be that I've felt. And so to create these things just creates more awareness and allows people to connect and join, support one another. Beyond that, I am working on a book, and I need to set a goal of when I want to get that wrapped up as a rough draft, but that's something I've been actively working on. And I didn't realize I've been working on that for years with my blog, dailybrainstorms.com, which I started on my 5th year anniversary from brain surgery 4 years ago. And that's something I'm also working on. And then I imagine, going around speaking to promote that and to share, more insight and perspective on that would be, something I've been thinking about and focusing on for vision as well. But also, just growing my personal brand and my message, and not really sure beyond that what other things will come from that. But those are some of the things I'm focusing on, and then also embracing the unknown of, some things I want to achieve emotionally inside of me and, externally with helping other people. There may be an opportunity that comes along that I never expected, and there may be something that I become really interested in that I never expected, and that it becomes a part of this. So that's the vision I'm working on now, is really creating a speaking tour to help promote the book and the foundation, and growing the foundation to be able to help support people, and just creating more content like these videos and a docu-series and things like that. I had a lot of fears getting started in BMX and on this new journey I'm on. And I've realized the best tips that I can give, 3 tips, would be just creating an awareness or a sense of consciousness of our thoughts. Because to me, fears is a thought, and we can change our thoughts. We do it every day. But what's interesting about thoughts is they create an emotional response in us that influences our decisions we make forward, or make moving forward. So really becoming aware and conscious of our thoughts, I think, is the first step. And when it comes to fear, is really, step 2 is, step 1, create awareness, consciousness of our thoughts. And step 2 is really trying to navigate, why this is coming up. Because once we can navigate why this is coming up, the third step is we can work on creating new thoughts and a new vision. And it's easier said than done, but if you can keep that consciousness going and then add in the other 2 steps over time, it really helps change the chemistry in your brain, your body, and you start taking new action, and it changes your outer world. And people talk about law of attraction or The Secret, things like that. And I'm on a journey of learning more from Dr. Joe Dispenza and the quantum physics aspect of these things, and how our outer world is a reflection of our inner world. And some fears when I got started was, are people going to be interested in what I have to offer? Do they really want to make change? Can I make this happen? Now that I have Brian, full-time on my team, which is one of the questions coming up, it's, fear of like, is this going to work out? Am I going to be, successful in this to be able to handle a team member and myself, all these things. And they all come from fear of a thought that we have from the past or foreshadowing in the future. And once we become aware of that, we can take that thought out and we can observe it. And then we can create new thoughts around it and really analyze, where this is coming from. So yeah, I mean, I think those are similar fears that we all experience: is fear of failure, fear of judgment based on failure, or changes that we're working on. I got a lot of slack from different communities I was involved with these new changes I've been doing, because it was different than the version of myself that they knew. But also fear of success, because that's a different aspect of our lives that we haven't maybe experienced yet. And the brain is always trying to analyze what's going to happen, and it's a different state of being, and it's whether we want it or not, or we know it's going to be beneficial, it's still an unknown, so the body tries to protect us from that. But I think those three tips of one, awareness or consciousness; two, analyzing that thought; and three, rewriting it, really focusing on what you want rather than what you don't want. And with that, I would also recommend reading the book Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And I think that's really an amazing book to learn about these different aspects we just talked about, and how you can make these changes and create the life that you want. The first course I ever went through was the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. It was a health coaching certification program, and it was a year-long program. I went through that a couple years ago when I was still traveling, riding, competing, and doing shows and things like that. Beyond that, let's see, I've gone through a program teaching you how to build an online program based on your services or products to educate and coach people. And then now I'm going through Dr. Joe Dispenza's workshop online, learning more about the brain and the subconscious, and creating change in our life and all the ins and outs of that. Beyond that, I don't know. I think that's the only trainings or courses I've been through. I think everything else has just been, through books or videos and podcasts, and just, over the years, just trying to accumulate as much education from people that I look up to and reverse engineer their path, whether it be an athlete, a speaker, a person in business, whatever it may be, just, whatever reason I resonate with them, reverse engineering the path that they took to get there and combining that with my path in BMX, and then moving forward with that, education, wisdom, awareness, whatever you want to call it. I think that's been huge. I've faced a lot of pushback from a lot of people in my life over the years for various reasons. And the best thing that's helped me, and the best piece of advice I can give other people going through that, is understand when you change how you show up in life and you take accountability for your life, the perception other people have of you changes. And so it's their thing that they have to worry about. You don't have to worry about them. As long as you're not purposely trying to hurt other people's emotions or physically hurt them, you're doing what you believe is best for you and your life and maybe the lives of others. People's opinions, perceptions, and perspectives of you are going to change. And that's going to be a mirroring effect on them, the things they need to work on potentially, or that they're going through. And it's not a reflection of you. So the best thing that I've learned and that I can recommend is just understand what's theirs is theirs, what's yours is yours. Meaning, if you're making a change that's going to better your life and the lives of others, that's your goal, and other people are showing up negatively in your life, that's something they have to work on internally. And it's that saying, like, you can see yourself in others. Like, when you start changing how you're living your life and you take accountability for your life and you create more self-awareness, you start to see how you trigger or how you respond in life or how you show up in the lives of other people. And so if you're getting a lot of pushback, I would recommend just staying focused on you, your vision, and why you're doing what you're doing, your purpose, and just having conversations with other people about, why they're giving you such negativity or pushback, or whatever it may be, just having a conversation, but understanding that's theirs. You're not responsible for anyone's actions or emotions other than yourself. And I say that as long as you believe deep down you're doing something that's going to better your life and the lives of other people, then don't worry about it and just try to focus more on your vision, your purpose, and just know that they are working on something with themselves. And don't take it personally. That's something that's helped me a lot, is not taking it personally. I do have a team. I have Brian Gilmet. He helps me with pretty much everything pertaining to content media that is a part of my brand. And then I have my girlfriend Jackie, who's always helped me with other various things from time to time. And beyond that, friends and family support and other people I meet, giving me feedback or information or maybe helping me with a thing here and there. But as far as a team that I work with on a regular basis, it's Brian and Jackie, and I'm really grateful for them. And the way that we recruited is Brian and I met a couple years ago in the gym when he was a strength and conditioning coach working at the gym I was training at. And one day we just had a conversation about content creation and his love and passion for graphic design and being creative in that sense, and how it started with music and all these different things. And over the years, it turned into doing projects with one another, and then it led to us working together full time now. And then Jackie, she's just been super supportive since when we first met as athlete and athletic trainer, and she walked me through my ACL prehab, surgery, and recovery. And then we became good friends, started dating, and now we're in a responsible adult relationship, sharing a life together. And with that comes support from one another. And so I think I've always just asked her opinion of different things maybe I was working on or writing or wanting to share or say. Just having, I think that goes back to self-awareness too, is having a team, whether it's officially like they're working with you full time or it's just friends and family or whatever, but creating a self-awareness outside of your brain and being able to bounce ideas off other people. I think that's super helpful. And in the future, we would love to be able to grow the team. It's just taking one step at a time, and that's part of the vision, is having someone to help Brian with editing or filming, whatever it may be for his purposes, but then also having someone help me with the marketing type stuff that goes into the more like web type things, and creating different programs or things like that. And at one stage in my life, I would love to be able to have a speaking coach and just someone to help on that end. And I believe in, coach. I am a coach myself, and BMX and the ketogenic diet and lifestyle. So just having a team of people that excel in one area that I don't, that can help, and in return we can create more content or more support for other people. I think that's what it's all about. So that's something I look forward to. So this question is really interesting to me because the phrase work-life balance, the word balance to me, I don't really like, because there's no definition of it. There's no measurement. There's no, baseline. When people say you got to have balance in your life, like, what does that really mean? And for me, the path I've chosen to create a career out of started with BMX. And now it's, to serve and support other people through education and speaking and content and coaching and things like that. So it's everything I'm passionate about. It's things that have helped me in my life and things I want to share with other people. So I don't have a regular 9 to 5. So I make up my times of work, and that work-life balance phrase to me is interesting, because I find myself just every day working on something, and something I'm trying to work on more for myself personally is to not be working all the time. And between social media and emails and messages and keeping up with clients or working on content or networking or education, things like that, it's easy for all the days to become the same day, and different hours of the day you're doing one thing or another. So tips to work on that is really just figure out if your actions are aligned with your purpose and your mission. And if you feel that you're stressed and overwhelmed, is just understand that if you're in a sense of stress and overwhelm, you trying to push through that is just going to make it worse and worse and worse. So if you're finding that maybe, something I've been noticing is I need to do more things for myself. I'm an all in or all out type of person, and now I'm working on becoming more in the middle, and just really knowing that it's going to be okay if I don't put all my time and effort into the business side of things, because I hold myself really accountable for my reality. And I put a lot of pressure on myself to do well and to succeed, because I believe it's up to me. Like, I don't have anyone else that can help me if things don't work out. So, but something I've been working on a lot lately is just trying to understand it doesn't all have to be black or white, yes to the things that are going to help the business, and yes, I need to be spending all my time, or no, I can't do that, So once in a while, I can watch a TV show with my girlfriend. Once in a while, I can go do things I enjoy. And I think it needs to be more regular. And like I said, if you're finding yourself always in stress and overwhelm, and you're not doing things to get yourself out, like meditation or things you enjoy, hanging out with friends or reading, things like that, that are not business focused, then that's where that, out of balance comes in. And so that's what I'm trying to work on now, is creating more opportunity to do things that aren't focused on the business 100% or at all, or somewhat, but just know I can enjoy more time for myself, because if I'm feeling better mentally and physically, I'm going to do better in my business, which ultimately helps me reach more people and support them. The biggest piece of advice I'd give someone starting any area of their life is to really focus on what you want to do with your life, what life you want to create and why. And there's going to be so many influences from the outside world, from media to your friends, your family, to strangers. It really comes down to, what do you want to do and why? And then really believe in yourself. I was told from day one, I better have a backup plan, or I shouldn't even try for BMX. It's very unlikely I was going to succeed at it. And I was getting a lot of slack from teachers and different people in my life, but I trusted deep down that that's something I wanted to do, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to later on in life when I was older. And I knew I could always come back to doing the more traditional things in life later on. So I believed deep down that that was what I wanted to do, and I was capable of it. And I didn't focus on the how. I just focused on what I wanted to do, and just why I wanted to do it. And I was successful in it. And that's something I've been taking to the path I'm on now. And of course, with being older and experiences and the brain more developed and thinking all these different things, and looking out for potential threats, it's a little bit more difficult, but it's possible. And that's what I'm focusing on now. So the best piece of advice I can give is just really follow your heart and what you believe in deep down, and have a belief in yourself, because you may take all the action you want in your life, but if you don't believe that it's possible because you're influenced from outside, noise, that it's maybe not going to happen, or it's going to be a struggle to happen. And so something I'm working on even more now is embracing the unknown and just believing in what I want to do, and that it has a higher purpose of just fulfilling myself. So best piece of advice is just to believe in what you want to accomplish and why, and believe in yourself and keep taking action, and don't let failure or falling down or hardship really deter you from that, because that's one of the biggest things BMX has taught me is you fall down. If you really want it, you get up, you try again, and you can learn from failure. It's a learning lesson if you choose to see it that way. So that is all 15 questions answered, and we're going to be doing more of these. So if you have any questions, anything that you want to know about anything I just talked about, or any other things I didn't talk about, let me know. And I appreciate all of you. I appreciate the time that you just took to watch and listen to this. And I'm here to help any way I can. And I appreciate you guys.